Simple answer is I was fortunate to be educated at Trinity College Kandy from the age of 5. I still have that thing in me about rugby was in my blood. At the time, the CH&FC team was mainly consisting of foreigners. They tried me the first 5 matches or so. It's the second team called CH Coverage. Down to the clubhouse here, there's no drinks. Vice principal, name of Dr. Dilshani Nugawela, very famous personality, the vice principal of Trinity. He played for Kandy Sports Club and all Ceylon at the time.
Voices of the Golden Era. Preserving identity, powering progress.
Welcome to Kandy Times. We are back again with the segment Voices of the Golden Era. Before we start, I would like to ask the audience to subscribe to the channel, like and share. So today we have a loyal CH player who has started his career from Trinity College and is a member of the 1969 unbeaten champion side of Trinity College, and is also a player of CH&FC, who came to play for CH&FC. He's a member of the team that was unbeaten in 1972. He's a national player of the 1974 President's Philippines, where they came runners-up to Japan, and he also captained the 1975's CH side. Then beyond the field, he went to, he's a qualified chartered accountant who went to Zambia and served as a banker in Standard Bank, South Africa. Lays back. So he's a figure and well known as Boga, fondly known as Boga. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Harendra to Kandy Times.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Gunasekare, before so from coming from Trinity College, your passion or your loyalty has been to CH&FC and then into banking and your migrated. And then I saw that even now you facilitate ventures between Sri Lanka and Zambia, business ventures, so you keep on giving to the country. So I would like to go from the boy who started at Trinity College to the man you are now. Can you just take us through your lifelong journey, your rugby career as well as your professional career?
Thank you, Dilshani. Thank you for that introduction. Well, to answer your initial question, it's about my introduction to this game of rugby. It's a pretty simple answer. I was fortunate to be educated at Trinity College Kandy from the age of 5. I was in boarding school. And that's where we as little kids were presented with the opportunity of watching our peers play this game, and I believe Trinity at the time was, it was our golden era really in rugby, and we as youngsters from boarding school, we were taken for all the matches, and we watched players who were very well known at the time. We had to live them later. So the culture of rugby was always in Trinity. More so if you were a boarder, because in your spare time you either play cricket, do athletics, rugby, play hockey, but rugby and cricket were the sort of sports of choice for people who wanted to actually, apart from studies. Studies were actually in the background, I have to say. Sports was a more important aspect of our boarding school life. So we got, drawn into this game from the age of, I would say, about 6, 7, 8 years old. We were taken for all the matches at the time, because we had rugby grounds, we played at Boga. And we were taken to these matches as little kids. Taken from by our boarding house matron, and then we developed obviously a passion for the game. So very simply put, I was lucky enough to be sent to school at Trinity College, And that was the beginning of my rugby career. I played Trinity first. We had under-15. That's where the first inter-school competition took place at the time. There were very few schools playing under-15, under-17, and first 15 in that era. So under-15 was the starting point of our rugby career. Under-15, I played 1 year, unbeaten. Then we went on to under-17. I played 2 years, unbeaten. In fact, the Trinity Under-17 side was unbeaten from inception sometime in late 50s, I guess, when we started Under-17 playing against other schools. I think we were unbeaten till, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere near 1982. 25 years we were unbeaten as Under-17. So I played Under-17 and then graduated on to the first 15 in 1969. I was 16 years of age at the time, but I had neglected my studies. So my father passed away when I was pretty young. My mother insisted that she takes me out of college. After 1 year, we played for Rugby. Again, unbeaten year. We were the champions for that year. We had 6 of our team representing the combined schools, team in 69, which included myself. So I was very, in a way, disappointed to be taken out of college because I had to leave all my rugby playing buddies and then brought into Colombo. So, with a promise to my mother that I won't be playing rugby, I'll start studying in my A-levels. That was the plan. But of course, it never, plans don't sometimes work out. Unknown to my mom, I was actually staying with my mom and aunt at Kinsey Road, it's close by the stadium. And I still had that thing in me about, and rugby was in my blood. I used to do early morning runs, workout, early morning, while I was in Colombo, with a couple of friends of mine, 2 or 3 of them were from Royal College actually. And I had no idea. I wanted to play club rugby, but because my mother had brought me here to Colombo, I thought let me try and get through my A-levels, which she enrolled me at fine university, down the corner of Boga. But, going to classes, I found the first month boring. The rugby season had started here. I had no affinity to any club, to be honest, because most of the Trinitians at the time were playing for CHandFC and Harendra. I didn't have any school, any of my teammates or seniors playing for CH&FC at the time. Most of them were playing for CHandFC. My immediate princesses like Dilshani Nugawela, the captain in 68. And there was in the Lingdon and looking to the director, they played for Headlocks. Of course, the previous famous Trinity played for either of those teams. So, so like I said, I was doing my fitness, my runs in the morning. I happened to pass Mental Desert. And I saw all these guys, the rugby season had started. At the time, the CHandFC team was mainly consisting of foreigners. The captain in 1970 was Maurice Mariner, famous number 8. He had played rugby league, I'm not sure, for Australia, in Australia for one of the clubs. And he was here in the team trade. He played for all Ceylon at the time. There was no Sri Lanka team. Foreigners who were based here were allowed to be selected to not the national team, it's called all Ceylon. And Maurice was in that also. Very powerful number 8 flag. He was the captain. And it was like, when I passed the club on my bicycle, like on my training, I would just stop and watch these guys practice. Let me try my luck. No one knew me at all, obviously. 23 years, 70 years old. So about the 3rd day, I got a little pretty excited. Maybe I should try my luck play for this club. Because other clubs had bookers at the position I played who were quite well known, who were already playing for Sri Lanka and all that. So I thought maybe in this club I might be able to make some inroad. So one day I came in the evening whilst I was practicing. I spoke to one of the Sri Lankan guys who was playing for the club. There were about 6 Sri Lankans playing, 8, maybe 6 to 8. One of them was Brian Baptist, and people I played with long after, Gunasekare, Keith Wombeck, who's in Australia now. Tony Amit, I think I just joined at the time as well, but he wasn't playing for the first team. The first team mainly comprised 5 or 6 Europeans, expatriates. So I went in and I introduced myself, and they said, who are you? And I said, look, this is my credential. I played for Trinity College Kandy. And also proving that I played for the combined sport. So then they got a little interested. They said, I said, look, my mom I'm not supposed to become a member of this club because my mom might get to know. So they said, no, don't worry, we'll make you a junior member. You're not going to pay anything. At the age of 17, they gave me junior membership. They tried me the first 5 matches or so. It's the second team called CH&FC. I think they still have the second. So they threw me in there and I played a few games. And then I got into the first team after 5 matches. At that time I remember Dimul were the league leaders. Dimul of all club 1970. But dominantly planting paternity. And I think my first match was against Dimul. And I was paired against the Sri Lanka number 1 hooker, Mike Diaz. I still remember. But one of my prop forward was the guy at Mohan Samar, who played Trinity with me the previous year. So there was some bit of, good going on there. With Mohan on that side, I felt comfortable because the rest of the guys are all guys who are, very renowned players. And that's how I just kept on playing from there. I never lost my place for 6 years. I had my injuries, of course. I ended up my career with dislocated shoulder, which I still suffer from. A few knocks on my scalp, stitches. So that's really from Trinity to CHandFC. So I played until 1975. I actually skipped my chartered accountancy 5 years because they made me captain. And again, I didn't tell my mom that I'm going to skip my final exam. So I honored my obligation to the club. They wanted me to captain the side in 75, which I did. And immediately, 6 months later, I sat for my final. Managed to get through. I don't know how that happened, but I managed to get through. So everything went well, finally. My mom was happy, club was happy, friends were happy, I was happy. So that was it. But by 76, I qualified then, and my shoulder was swelling. It was coming out every match, jump out. So I knew I could play my potential. So I gracefully gave up the sport. I also qualified. Then I think I got a job in Bahrain as a young CA. So I hung up my boots, and that really is my the story in a nutshell.
So I think your exam of when one door closes, another door opens. So you were sad when you couldn't play for Trinity College, and your mother thought that you should study, but then you went on to becoming a legendary player. I see that you are a talent center for CH and even the national team. And you said that you haven't been able to stop, or like you kept on selecting you for 6 years continuously. So playing behind your mother's back as well, and but it's a win-win situation. You satisfied your mom as well. You have chartered accountant, and I think something that you have achieved a very colorful, with renowned professional life. So, can we get to know a little bit about your professional life also, Mr. Gunasekare, as to how you went to become a banker and in such prestigious banks overseas?
Okay, so Dilshani, I'm actually a bit intrigued by you have categorized me as being a legend. I don't think I am a legend compared to the names that you've already, that I have mentioned and the people in that era. But nevertheless, since you have elevated me to that position, I'll gracefully accept your sentiments. So having, like I said, finished my rugby career, those were days when Sri Lanka was going through the socialism issue. I think Mrs. Bandaranaike was in power. Down to the clubhouse here, there's no drinks. We were on a very delicate economic footing at the time. So that's the era I think a lot of professionals started leaving Sri Lanka. Mainly, doctors, engineers, such like. IT guys came much later. There was not much IT in the old days. Accountants also happened to be part of that exodus, if you like, from Sri Lanka. And 6 months after I qualified, I had this job offer from Bahrain. It was a hotel, but that was through friends of friends, actually through one of my wife's business contacts, who offered me a job in Bahrain. Not knowing what to expect in the Middle East and coming from a, shall we say, privileged background here, I still decided to bite the bullet and try it out there. But I went out there and I found life wasn't as rosy as people deemed it to be at the time. I came back hurriedly in 4 months. Well, I didn't know how to cook for starters. And a lot of things on my own which I wasn't used to. Even though I was at boarding school, everything was done for us. So this was a bit of a shell shock for me. I came hurriedly back. I worked in a hotel there, 5-star hotel. But the whole environment and friends, and it was lacking. No sooner I got back, Zambia were recruiting accountants at the time because Zambia were undergoing the same nationalization issues, etc. And that country also was a, shall we say, European-dominated society. All the businesses, etc., were European. South African, shall we say, white-dominated businesses. And the president at the time, Kenneth Kaunda, was nationalizing these industries, just like Madam Bandaranaike, the India nationalizing their states, etc. Those Europeans started leaving, including the professional. Now they were looking for, Zambia at that time had just got independent in 1964. I remember, my figures are correct, they had only 12 qualified chartered accountants in the country at the time I went. So they had started recruiting from Sri Lanka. There were 3 or 4 batches that went before me. And they obviously made a very good name for themselves, the accountant from Sri Lanka who were over them. And to date, that sentiment is expressed by any Zambian that they got very high regard for Sri Lankan accountants. So it was very easy to fit in there. We were welcome there. It's a lovely country. The reason I'm still living there and part-time here. Good climate, very friendly people. And they played rugby at the time. Now, one of the reasons why they recruited me, I didn't tell them at the interview, was the fact that I had given up rugby. Now, the senior partner at this company called Coopers and Lycra, he got interested in my CV more than my qualification, the fact that I played rugby. He said, no, why don't you come to this, the expatriates there had teams in Zambia who used to tour Sri Lanka, in Changa, there were people in Changa. They were all Welsh miners, basically, working in the copper mines in Zambia. They would tour Sri Lanka actually. And they had 2 or 3 good teams. So this guy thought he can draft me into one of those teams because he was ardent rugby. He was also European. And fortunately, I had a cousin who was already in there. She was also in county. She said, no, you don't come to Kitwe. You get yourself to the Musaka office. And I took her advice and I, joined the Lusaka office. And, the rest is really, being at the right place at the right time. So one of my first audits in my year 1 was the audit of Greenlace Bank. And Greenlace Bank had about 12 expatriate Scotsmen who were expatriate employees there. And they got interested in my CV. At the time, bankers didn't employ accountants per se. They had their own systems and, life went on. It was very basic accounting stuff that era. So they employed me with a view to, the world was transit. There was transit. The transiting stage where accountants now, even finance industry or banking industry, had a role to play. So, like I said, going to be in the right place at the right time. So I joined them, Greenlace, which was a big step forward because at the time Zambia also had exchange rate problems, and we could only remit out 1/3 of our salary in dollars. The rest we had to keep there and spend whatever. But the moment I joined Greenlace, everything, all my package was sort of paid offshore. So it was a no-brainer that I joined it. Excuse me, which I did. I was with Greenlace for about 6-7 years as CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Then South Africa, ANZ, Australia and New Zealand Bank, got interested in Africa. They woke up one day and said, look, the minerals that Australia lacks, they're all in Africa. So let's make an acquisition of a banking group, a successful banking group in Africa. So the obvious choice was Greenlace Bank, which was an old British colonial bank, which was really not much of a corporate bank. It was a retail bank, servicing retail clientele, a few of the British multinational companies. So it was going nowhere in terms of its the forward thinking of Greenlace. The management at the time was, look, we just consolidate, we're happy to get our dividend, off we go. But for ANZ, saw an opportunity there because Greenlace was already represented in about 12 or 15 African countries. Kenya, Tanzania, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria, Ghana, all those countries. So it was a good acquisition for ANZ Bank. So ANZ took over. I was with them. They brought their own expatriates, but I was fortunate enough to be kept on in the expatriate payroll because for some reason, being the finance guy, I had knowledge of a lot of things that was in the past, historically. And I was an independent contractual employee. Not from ANZ, not from Greenlace, independent. So they kept me on. And then within 4 years, Standard Bank, South Africa suddenly woke up. What happened in South Africa was, if you recall, Mandela, who was jailed, he was released after a lot of negotiation. The moment he was released, the whole world came back to South Africa. And they were allowed now to invest in the rest of the world because they were considered a pariah state in South Africa as long as Mandela was jailed. So when South Africa opened up, their first biggest acquisition as a private company was Standard Bank South Africa, which was, I think at the time, the second largest bank in South Africa, to acquire the entire ANZ. As to why the Australians sold out, I wouldn't know. Because strategically they had interest in the first place, in the minerals. But South Africa as well, because they also have gold, the diamonds, but they didn't have copper, cobalt, etc. large quantities. So that acquisition worked out for them, and now Standard Bank is the largest banking group in the whole of Africa. In Zambia, they're number one. So, privileged to work for that bank, see it grow in Zambia. And but there had to come a time, now the Zambians now become qualified in various positions. They were trained. So the accountants category came up, the bankers category, they were well trained. So as I speak now, there is not a single expatriate. It's a nice story to know that the country who had nothing in 1978 by way of qualified personnel to run various industries, financial sector, etc., is now totally self-sufficient. It's a fantastic story to tell, really. Sri Lanka was way ahead there. So, that was it. And then, obviously, there was a time that I was going to lose money. My job, I had to go to the local, which happened in 2005. So by then I had invested in various portfolios, property, stock market, etc. I got used to my kids had already qualified, all my three daughters. They were all graduates. I said, look, enough corporate life for me. So I think at the age of 52, I basically bowed out. So thank you very much. And today I'm enjoying a peaceful life, but exciting life still.
It's very interesting talking to you, Mr. Gunasekare, but I think before I go further, I will go back to the statement when you asked me why am I calling you a legend. So before speaking to you, it was from what other people told me, but after speaking to you, definitely I think I can certify that. Because from a 17-year-old boy to go up to a white dominant club and ask for a position, and once you got that, to hold it for 6 years until you decided to let go because you couldn't give your utmost to the club, as well as going to another country where there were only 12, like you said, about 12 professionals, but started that, and I think you're part of the Zambia's transition and succession, definitely. So definitely to be in par with the whites as well as the others at a very young age. So again, must certify that statement. Next question I have asked you is, you have approached certain people and they have given that opportunity to you. And I feel that when you said that being there at the right time and the right place is very important. And also for those people to identify you is also important. So who would your role models be in your life, in your rugby career as well as your professional career?
Thank you for that very important question. So, in terms of my school career and rugby, I presume that was the question.
Yes.
Well, the person who really, I would say, was my, I wouldn't say role model, the person who really got the whole of my batch of boarders, yes, but played with us, was our vice principal, name of Dr. Dilshani Nugawela, a very famous personality. He was the vice principal of Trinity. He played for Kandy Sports Club and all Ceylon at the time. He came from a very prominent, eminent family. So he was really, shall we say, mentor. Okay, he drilled us from the age of under 15, under 17. He stopped at under 17 because that was his role. The basics of rugby at Trinity, no one can deny. Up to my era and beyond can be credited to that technique. Basic things like catching the ball, getting the high ball, go for the tackle, defense, falling over the loose ball. All those skills were taught to us at the age of 13, 14. We would practice. We would often go and watching as like 12-year-old, 10-year-old, watch the under-17 guys practice. Because we have a team, under 13 at the time. I think these days they are not sure. So really, the basics. That's the thing about rugby. These skills of passing at the right time, draw your man and pass, and stuff like lie down, and of course the scrum. So he was, I would say, in terms of rugby, would be the man I would myself and many other kids, those who came out of college who continued playing the sport. Then, of course, I had a very good coach in '69, famous General Boga. What a nice man. He was spending some time in Kandy. I believe there were some issues at the time where he was out of the army at the time for whatever reason, and he had 2-year sabbatical. And he came back to his old school to coach the side, and I believe he coached in '68 as well. Yes, when I did the captain. And he coached '69 unbeaten team, so I would give credit to him as well. And then when I came to club, there were the Europeans. I mean, the John Banks and the John Burrows. I don't know if you've heard of them. In fact, John Burrows passed away, I'm told, just about 3-4 months ago. He was a famous fullback. He was a coach at the time. Then came Dilshani Nugawela. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was a fitness fanatic. He was 70 years old. We would do a road run before the training started, about 5 kilometers. He was like 72 years of age. He headed the road run, and when we came back, we were exhausted. This guy kept running the coach 2 more rounds before we started practice. So Dali was there. Then, of course, came another famous coach, Archibald Harendra, from St. Peter's. He was a very well-respected coach. So those were really my, on the rugby side, I would say my mentor coaches. But of course, on the field and off the field, I have many. I mean, if I tell you I played for one club, but the number of friends I still count. The guys at Havelocks, the guys at CR, my own guys at CH, my other Trinity friends who never played rugby, but in other countries. I'm in touch with all of them. So this is one thing that this game has given me so much networking opportunities. Even today, I won't mention names, people I know, big guys in industry, commerce, and immediately, we can get things done with that. So, in terms of role models, in the game itself, I mean, the guy I played with him for 6 years, or something, 5 years out of my 6 years, is CHandFC. The late Vice. He was my buddy. He was 10 years senior to me, but took care of the younger guys and nurtured them, protected them. Fantastic guy. Then of course, all my my college rugby mates, my CH&FC mates. I'm still in touch with them. Tony Ahmed, Daniel Jennifer, Brad Baptist, all those guys, Kuda, whatever the PTL. Those are all guys who, played my time. The Bagonaut brothers who are in Australia, I'm very much in touch with them. So all of them have been, each one had a role to play in your life, The boys from Isipatana, Horace Pereira, Upal Inadaki, and, then of course there were the senior guys like Noel Royan and Lawrence Pereira. He's all played in our famous 72 unbeaten side. Guys, I learned so much from that 72 side because there were 6 of us or 7 of us were just out of college, 18, 19 years old. And we had the others who had retired, like Lawrence Pereira, Noel Rohida, a couple of other guys who had retired from the game but came back to play because we were short of players, I would say at the time, quality players. And we as youngsters had to look at these guys who had played 10, 12 years of rugby to derive our inspiration. So that was a fantastic, I would say,
So YC Chang, when anybody mentions the name, I can't help laughing because Dante Salata told how he has been a year and how Mike Tyson's move was made before we even thought of it. So I see that you said something very important where this rugby career has allowed you to network, create friendships and brotherhood that goes beyond the field and is there even now. So that is an, I think, important factor that you learn from sports. My other question is, what are your memorable moments in rugby? I'm sure you have a lot. And it could be funny, positive, even negative, that you would like to share with us that didn't go in the papers.
Our famous 1974 side here, match here, where YC was captain. And there were some refereeing decisions which we all thought was going against us. It was a match against Harendra. It was a crucial match as well. And YC had a few words with the referee, who was someone well known to him as well. They were drinking mates in Colombo. I won't mention names. And the third time, YC told the referee, if you penalize us one more time, because this is not an infringement according to his view, and he was our captain. Whether we like it or not, we followed the captain's orders. It happened the third time, YC took the whole team out, and we followed him. And due to that incident, I would say, he lost the captaincy of Sri Lanka in the 74 Asia, because he captained in 72. And he was obviously one of the countries who was captain in 74. So that's my own opinion. I don't know what the selectors have in mind. But he was suspended for the season as a result of that move. And actually, I was made captain for the rest of the season in 74. So that was one incident that I won't forget. Then of course there's another incident, strangely involving YC again. We went in 1971, 72, we had this social site called Pink Elephants. Now Pink Elephants was a social site, mainly consisting of had-beens, people who have played, retired, or people who are playing but young enough to carry the side, because half these guys could play beyond drinking tickets. They're all looking for beer. So it was a really fun side. Now the criteria to get into Pink Elephants was A, you had to be a current player, reasonably talented, of present generation and past. 2, you should be able to last 40 minutes of the game. 3, you should be able to drink the whole night, basically after party, right? And 4, you had to give you a free time, basically no practice. We go, side is selected, we go to Dimunda, we go to Nicoya, some foreign team comes, we go play with them. It's a purely social side. I think I might have ticked all the boxes in this side, although I was only 20 years of age. Anyway, we go out for this match in Nicoya. There was some foreign team who had come and they said, okay, Pinkies come and play an exhibition match against the boys. And we played the match and drinking went all and singing the whole rugby songs. Oh, that was the other criteria. You should be able to sing those rugby songs till 3-4 in the morning. Okay? So, boys started drinking and we all drove from Colombo to Nicoya, played the game and we were supposed to come back. So I was taken in the car, Dr. Hubert Aloysius, you must have heard of him. another famous personality in Sri Lanka rugby. He captained at Boga. And then in 72, he moved to CH. Him and YC were very close friends. So when YC moved out and came here, Gilbert moved with him. Those two were incorrigible gentlemen, I have to say. Gilbert had his practice, his doctor, dental practitioner, I think. And at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, everyone's drunk, Gilbert says, throws the keys to me, his car, and says, hey boy, drive us back to Colombo. I went with them, but you guys were totally smashed. And so was I. What do? I mean, I'm the small boy. Got into the car, 3 in the morning. I didn't know how to get back to class from Victoria. These 2 guys got into the back seat, put the blinders down, legs out, one leg twice in that side, Hubert that side, fast asleep, snowing. Me and in the front driving. There's no radio in the car at the time. You know, how I brought these guys back and myself back to Colombo is a story that probably only God can answer. So that was one other interesting story was in 71, I think. Again, our country game. We were, again, I mean, we didn't have buses and all that. We went with someone who had a car. So we were playing Uber on Saturday. That time, up from 71, they had Nibula, Dikoya, Uber, Kandy Lekla, I'm not sure. Yeah. They were all playing. Very competitive. Uber was a Saturday game, CH game. Myself, that guy called Stephen LeBroy, he's still around, he played for Fire, and Horace Pereira from Isipati. 3 of us, Horace and I were there, but we were taken to, and they put us at a planter's bungalow. The 3 guys in the next day stayed, etc. And next day is the match. So our misfortune, the guy I stayed in, the plant I stayed with, he was retired, he was told me. Anna, my daughter, I know Anna, the family very well. So he said, because I knew his brother well, that he put me up with the other 2. Not knowing these guys had planned. They knew our weaknesses, our propensity to the drink. Got my opposite number, the guy called David Ondachi, who played for Uber. Horace's opposite number, I can't remember, Horace was a secretary contact. And Stephen Nugawela played from that opposite number. They said, I want to meet you. I called them for dinner. And these guys just gave us food. And they were sipping, they said, they were holding a gin. They said they were also drinking gin, but they were drinking water. Got us totally perseverant. There are the worst motherless, put it that way. And next morning, we lost the match. And I think some of the senior players got to hear about it. We were talking to them. And so that's another incident I'll never forget. And every time I met Horace, he used to, well, guys, but they're gone now. I said, Matagada, Api Jinbila, Metaduna. Every time he meets, he used to say this. So that was another interesting. There were many more.
So, very enjoyable moments. I don't know whether you should take that. And it's Jinbila Farada in the bear match then.
No, I don't.
So, but anyway, those are good moments, and if there is a funny story, I think Mr. Chang is always there.
He's always featured. There are a few more which I didn't mention, but that's enough for this. But that's for another day.
That's for another day. So, Mr. Gunasekare, one question that I ask all the past players is, if you all had a chance, if you had a chance to clean the slate, come back again, would you play rugby? 1. you play for the same team, like the club, CH&FC, and who would your dream team be? They can be players from the present, if you know their names, and the past as well.
So, as far as your first two questions are concerned, it's a no-brainer. Rugby, if I were to come back, fortunately or unfortunately, it is back again in college, CH&FC. Okay. Your next question was what would my dream team? And that's a very difficult question to answer because, I've lived through that, so we say 60s to mid-70s era because I left Sri Lanka in 77. So I'm only familiar with the sort of players during that age. I think I'll decline to give names for a particular position, but maybe I can mention a few names that for the selectors to select, so to speak. Okay, it'll be unfair for me. I have so many guys, I don't want to fall out with my friends for not mentioning their names. So, I'll obviously narrow it down to people I've played with or against, regardless of which school or which club. I've played against them all. I've seen them play or played against them. For the front row, obviously I have to recuse myself from a position. But I would, the obvious guy who was the guy who played for Sri Lanka for many years, all stars, Mike Gallis. That's what he was well known, obviously. And these are guys who inspired even people like me and Trinity who followed. I think there were about 4 or 5 after him who played all Sri Lanka, all Sri Lanka. So he would be one of my choices. Then there would be another Mohan Balasuri who was before my time, 1 year before. He was there as well as super. Top forward, obviously, Raisi, without doubt. Then there would be Haji Oma. Then there was Sam Samarasekaran from CHandFC, who's in Canada now. There was J.R. Briggs from Hablocks, played Sri Lanka in the same pool. Some of the school guys I played with Mohan Samarasekaran for us. Well, but he never continued his rugby. So I would, and there's a guy called Pin, Chinese guy, YS Pin. I don't know if you heard of him. He played for Rugby with me from my schools. He went on to captain with me in 71. Yeah. So that would be the front row. Second row, there were people like I've not played against, but in the old days they had much bigger players like Eric Rose. If you've heard of him. Granjan Pereira. Josephine. That era had a lot of European people who I won't mention because it's Sri Lanka. Then my era at the club, 2 young guys from St. Peter's, Kumar Westin Billy and Rizwe Nizam. Both of them sadly passed away. Yeah, my age group. They passed away. But they were 2 fantastic players. They both played basketball. And this is that 72 famous team that the youngsters played. So those guys were good as well. Dr. Maya has been around for a long time. Also my opponent at Trinity as well as Sia. Who are the other guys? Nanu Tenapu, he started as flag player. Lani was my classmate actually. We were together. So Lani would be up there. And a few others. Third row, I will put in obviously Dr. Harendra, my captain was 74. We were against him many years. Dr. Tony Silva, very good player. Sadi Silva, of course, I never played against him. I never had the privilege playing against him, but he was something else. He was from another world. Probably one of the best rugby players Sri Lanka ever produced in my era. Okay. Number 8, you know Roy, of course. Ajit Abhiratana. Flankers Brian Baptist, who have played 6, 7 years, all 6 years. Yeah, played with him. College, there was a guy by the name of Iswan Omar. Sadly, also passed away. Fantastic player, never shone at rugby level. He played for Kandy, prone to knee injury. Fantastic forward. I think his son captain Sri Lanka. Harris. I've never met the youngster, but that and I were very close. So those are the sort of forwards that, if I missed out on any other, I'm sure I missed out on other big names, but that's my apologies. Okay. Scrum halves, there were a few great guys. Let me go back in history. There was MTN Zaruk for the Trinity. I don't know if you heard of him. Double line. He was like 5'1". Then there was Dilshani Nugawela, all 2 players. Initially, it was dirty guys. Never played against them, but these are all models scrum halves. His whole line of them, Dilshani Nugawela, then Silkopadu. And then came a guy by the name of Hadze Sama, who played junior. Absolute brilliant. He was, more attacking player than he should have played maybe second 3 quarters. Hansi was very talented, so I would put him up there. In terms of number 10, obviously the guys I played with, before me, the famous Nimal Maralanda, there was Janaki Sarapata, there was Glenn Van Langenberg, there was my time, there was Irving Hobby. All these guys played for Sri Lanka, so top of the range. I don't know, the rest of the clubs, of course, they had half year was always coming. Yeah, those were the sort of standout names as far as fly-offs are concerned. Sorry, on third row, I missed out 2 famous flankers by the name of Mark Sundarali and Boga. His formidable third row of Trinity College of 67 and 68. Fantastic players, but they left the country where they were seeking greener pastures. So I think they played 1 year from them. If I'm not mistaken, all 3 of them played in 67 and played for Sri Lanka the very next year, all 3 of them. Ajit Abhiratana, Sundare and Boga. Walked in Sri Lanka, so those are great players. Then we talk about centers. They played Marcus Almeida, Ratnam brothers, Dan and Jeff. Those are guys I played against. Here we had a few, but not Rugby, but not Roy Balasuriya, who was also my college mate, played for Sri Lanka as well. Omar Sharif, who is another good buddy of mine, also played for Sri Lanka. All fantastic players. Then there were also guys I never played against. CHandFC in Kandy. CHandFC. Kandy. Kandy played for Sri Lanka against the Bosons, I think. Good player, hard tackler, tough guy, tough as nails. Then you have the 3 quarters. I would, from my opinion, one of the best guys I played with is Hamish Petana, from the Zano brother. Played in the 72 side, also played for Sri Lanka. Hamish, there were so many hard runners, Reggie Bartholomew's, all the tiny action runners. You give them the ball, they disappeared. We also had a couple of foreigners who played here under my time. Guys who had never played rugby before, actually. They had played, one guy was the British Commonwealth 400-meter champion. He came and played rugby in a 72 side. You give the guy the ball, Mike Hawk, and it's guaranteed he's good. So there were guys like that as well. So Yeah, there were so many, too numerous to mention. Then of course fullback. I mean, my captain was Shah for JVP, with the schools, Colombo, Sri Lanka. Also, is now sadly let it go. There were many fullback, Charles Vijay from police. And sorry, I didn't mention Anthony Benedict, another big player, number 8. So these are, I've used so many players. But I'm just mentioning guys of my era, okay? Guys after my era are fantastic players. One of them I can mention is Saman Kasim, who came as a recruit in my last year. A youngster, 16 years from Royal. And he was a fantastic player too. But then came so many other players. Sharma, Harendra. But these are guys I've never seen play because I left the country.
I think that's going to be a very fantastic team. So my last question to you, Mr. Gunasekare, being such a person who has achieved so much in life, what is the advice you would like to give to you regarding their rugby career, their professional career, and life at large?
Simple question to answer really. Is rugby is not your life. It's one phase of your life. Your studies, your school, whatever sport you decide, it's rugby. One phase of your life. So do not try to advise any youngster. You need to have plan B beyond the game. Okay? And especially in a country where we are semi-professional at this stage. What does a player do after his career is complete? You are at a complete substance. There's no provident fund, I'm not sure if there's no insurance, life insurance, all that. You must have some kind of you don't have to be a professional. You could be good at whatever you're good at. If you're good at making a swimming pool as a profession, go for it. But do not think rugby or cricket for that matter is the end of the journey. In fact, it will only augur well what all those relationships you build up for the next phase of one's life. And that's what one should be. You've got a family to look after immediately after that. So have plan B always, whatever that plan B is. That would be my simple advice.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gunasekare. I think you have practiced what you have preached, because you said that at the time in Zambia you had to leave your job because they were you had to give it to the locals there. And by that time you were able to do that, you were secure enough to do that because you have invested in other ventures and you were able to say, okay, yes, thank you very much, and take a bow. So I think that's good advice you have to give to the youth today, that you're not indispensable. So, and however very good you are in any aspect in life, there always has to be a change, and there has to be a plan B, and you have to move on from that. And another thing I think right throughout what you said was be there, the right place at the right time. So that is also important to identify that situation. So thank you very much. I think I must say I'm really enjoying doing these videos with you all. And each time I hear new stories, I learn a lot and enjoy myself as well. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dilshani. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Definitely a
and
pleasure.
I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Keep the ball rolling, as they say. I think you're doing a good job. It's start. Next stage will come.
Thank
So
you.
my best wishes to do that. Well,
Thank you very much. So to the audience, I like to say, if you like these videos, again, subscribe, like and share. Also, I need to mention please, when you're sharing, reshare and repost, because there's a lot of effort and financial work going into these videos. Please don't take it without its logos and post it on your own. Try to repost and reshare. Thank you very much.